Over the course of the last 10 years, there has been a noticeable shrinkage in the American middle class. Specifically, the working class of America is confronting alarming challenges due to decline in their purchasing power compared to the era spanning from 1970 to 1990. This reduction can be primarily attributed to the escalating cost of living across the United States, which has driven median home prices upwards from $117,000 during the 1970s to almost $450,000 today. Prepare yourself for some serious news because we're going to talk about a big problem that's hurting the middle class. But before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. And don't forget to like this video. Everyday things like cars, healthcare, schooling, gas, utilities, and other stuff you buy regularly have gotten a lot more expensive. But the money people make hasn't gone up nearly as much, only about 66% more over the last 50 years. Plus, inflation makes things even worse by making people's money worth less over time, so they can buy less with it each month. For many people, especially those in the middle class, the traditional American dream of getting financially secure and rich by owning a home is getting harder to reach. There just aren't enough decent-paying jobs around for middle-income folks anymore. So, lots of families have to work more than one job just to keep up with their expenses. Many people may not realize they've fallen out of the middle class. Nowadays, the job market is split into two extremes. You either need to spend a lot of money on a college degree for well-paying jobs, or you have to settle for lower-paying ones. Just having a degree doesn't guarantee a high salary anymore, because there are lots of easier jobs out there that don't pay as much. A survey by American Compass in August 2023 revealed that most American workers don't have stable jobs. Only 40% have secure jobs paying at least $40,000 a year, with benefits like health insurance and paid time off. This is worrying because the middle class used to play a big part in boosting the economy. However, recent data from the Pew Research Center shows that they now contribute less to the overall income compared to the period between 1960 and 1980. Since Richard Nixon's presidency in 2023, the middle class has shrunk by 11%, making up less than half of the population now. Economists think the official figures might not show the whole picture because the definition of the middle class is unclear. As per the Department of Labor, a family of 4 falls under the federal poverty level if their income is $30,000. Those earning between $30,000 and $43,372 are considered middle class. However, critics argue that categorizing a part-time bartender and a wealthy suburban couple together doesn't make sense due to their vastly different incomes. The middle class is categorized by the Federal Reserve as those occupying the middle 50% of all income earners. However, there are doubts about the accuracy of this calculation due to the broad spectrum of income levels present. It's conceivable that the actual median income might be substantially greater than presently estimated. In essence, the current definition of the middle class might prioritize demographic composition over accurately reflecting their economic standing. Even though middle-class families may not be considered impoverished, their financial security is far from guaranteed, and the essential pillars supporting this demographic appear to be faltering. A growing proportion of middle-class Americans are finding themselves unable to attain homeownership, with approximately 11 million families who were once considered part of this income group no longer meeting the criteria since 2020. This surge in property values means that many young adults are unable to afford homes in today's market, despite their desire to become homeowners. As a result, they face significant challenges in achieving this milestone of adulthood and are forced to continue renting or live with family members for longer periods. Due to the steep increase in mortgage rates, middle-income families are finding themselves constrained to purchasing homes that are considerably less expensive than what they could have afforded just 3 years ago. According to Fannie Mae, the median purchasing power for families has plummeted from $356,500 to $189,900 as a result of these higher interest rates. This significant decline in affordability has made it increasingly challenging for families to enter the housing market or move into more desirable neighborhoods. Even though purchasing power has declined, list prices for homes have surged significantly, with 45% of markets in 100 major U.S. cities, as tracked by Redfin economists, reporting list prices surpassing $500,000 in 2023. This escalation in list prices has led Americans to take out larger mortgages, particularly as interest rates have climbed notably over the past few years. Overall, the buying power of a middle-class individual looking to purchase a home has dwindled by approximately half since the conclusion of 2020. The typical monthly mortgage payment for a newly acquired home has surged to over $2,000, contrasting starkly with the $1,100 seen 3 years earlier. Lawrence Yun, who is expert in real estate, says that it's becoming really tough for people who earn less than $100,000 a year to buy their own home. This makes things especially hard for young adults who grew up in families that were considered middle class because they can't keep up the same kind of lifestyle as they get older. They're finding it difficult to buy houses, which means they can't invest in property like their parents might have been able to. So, it's making it harder for them to have the same kind of life as before. Adding to the difficulties in buying homes, other things like energy, fuel, and groceries have also become more expensive lately. This means that people who earn a middle-class income don't have much extra money left after paying for these essential things. They often can't afford to do fun stuff like eating out, buying big things, or going on trips because most of their money goes towards basic needs. When people spend less money, it slows down how much money is moving around in the economy. This can make things worse because then businesses might not make as much money, which could lead to job cuts. Even young people who worked hard and got a good education are struggling financially, unless they were born into rich families. This problem affects millennials too. Some of them were lucky enough to buy their first home and car before prices went way up in 2023. The challenges go beyond just getting a nicer car or house. Many folks are finding it harder to save for retirement or even keep up with everyday expenses. It's like the deck is stacked against them, making it feel like they're running in place or even falling behind, despite working hard and doing all the right things. And these difficulties aren't just limited to one generation. Both younger and older folks are feeling the squeeze. Retirement used to be something most Americans looked forward to, but now it's slipping out of reach for many. A recent survey by Bankrate found that more than half of working Americans aren't confident they'll be able to retire when they want to. And even those who are nearing retirement age aren't in the clear. Many of them don't have enough saved up to live comfortably after they stop working. The average retirement account balance for middle-class folks aged 55 to 64 is just $882,000, which falls way short of what experts say you need, around $1.53 million, to maintain your lifestyle in retirement. It's a tough pill to swallow for those who've worked hard their whole lives, only to find out they may never get to enjoy their golden years the way they'd hoped. To reach an 8% replacement rate of income in retirement, those starting to save around age 40 would need to contribute more than 26% of their gross income annually until age 67. While it may sound straightforward to save 5% of income early on, maintain steady employment, and avoid financial setbacks, the actual process is far more demanding. Starting later in life significantly increases the required savings rate, making retirement planning much more challenging. Beginning a new phase of life at age 50 entails committing half of one's income to support oneself through the remaining working years, adding pressure to an already challenging situation. The existing retirement framework presents formidable obstacles to saving, making the aspiration of retiring comfortably increasingly unattainable. Furthermore, a significant 90% of middle-class individuals acknowledge the growing strain of escalating living expenses, with earnings lagging behind to keep up. Even individuals considered part of the upper middle class find themselves in a bad financial situation, often struggling to make ends meet and fearing they may lose access to essential loans. These financial difficulties become evident through rising delinquency rates on credit cards, mortgages, and auto payments. Recent data shows that in the last month, those earning between $55,000 and $99,000 experienced an alarming 6.1% delinquency rate in 60-day car payments, highlighting the strain on middle-class finances. These statistics underscore a stark reality. Middle-class Americans are experiencing financial challenges at an unprecedented level. Some argue that the middle class in America isn't just shrinking, but is actually undergoing a significant crisis. This decline is seen as gradual and painful, driven by policies over the years that have made the cost of living unmanageable for the average person. The effects of this crisis extend beyond individuals and are contributing to a broader decline across the nation. Thank you for watching. Remember to show your support by liking, subscribing, and commenting on the video. Share your thoughts, and let's continue the conversation.